talk about Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo just underwent cartilage replacement surgery on his left knee Monday. This is a procedure which he believes would give him the best chance to return to the court, where he hasn't played since January 2022. Now Ball is aiming to become the first ever NBA player to return from cartilage transplant surgery. So, 0 to 100, what are the chances that Lonzo Ball plays another NBA game?
100.
Okay.
All you need is one game, right?
You got to play one more?
That's it. What's up with all these Debbie Downer ass stories, man?
Yo, this is NBA news. We are an NBA show.
Damn.
Lonzo Ball is a SoCal legend. Chino Hills, not really LA for those who might get confused by it. A little bit in the cut, adjacent. You can get there about 50, 55 minutes with proper traffic.
I hope he does come back. But still with this time, you're still taking it easy and things like that. But I still feel like he should get into other things in life now. I don't think he should wait. Let's say that surgery does come back, he can play. You still just don't know though. And I think just for a lot of young guys that deal with injuries or dealing with things that, can get you off the court, you got to find something else to still be creative outside of basketball. Just because things like this, you'll never know. Mm-hmm. So even if he does come back, if he doesn't, I just know that it's still more into life.
So he had a meniscus tear that didn't heal right?
They said repair torn meniscus. He ended up missing the rest of the season for that. He continued to have pain and discomfort. Wasn't able to really jump and run, work out on the knee, like he was saying. So I gave him a second surgery in September.
A second meniscus tear surgery?
I think just to repair it or to go in and clean it up.
Okay.
And now he's had cartilage replacement surgery on that left knee.
Huh.
So that's 3. In about a year.
You gotta, it's probably just rehabbing too fast, too aggressive. Just like anything, there's a time frame where, you have to make sure you're doing the right things, or you can go south. I had a meniscus tear, and it was supposed to have been 6 to 8 weeks, and I didn't come back to the end of the season. 2 games, and it's just how your body heals. So he has to listen to his body. It's one of the most frustrating things, because the mind says it's not painful, but even though there is pain in there, so he has to listen to his body, and when he's free of pain, that's when he should be trying to ramp things up.
So you guys have both suffered career-altering injuries. Talk to me a little bit just about the mental side of it, Gil, like you mentioned. For Brandon, I think you had with the torn Achilles, and just trying to come back, knowing what you used to be able to do prior to that injury, and knowing how you had to adjust your game moving forward after the injury.
I think with my Achilles, man, I was the first time I had to sit down. So I just started getting buck wild a little bit. I was partying, just trying to find different things just to do, because that was the first time, like I said, I had to sit down and not be able to play basketball. So I started getting to other things in life, and it kind of took me away from basketball a little bit, because I was started to get into other things. Came back, of course, I played that year, still didn't feel right, got traded to the Knicks. Things just started, the mental part happened. What messed me up mentally was just the moving around a lot, not knowing, coming off the bench. That wasn't new for me. That was new for me. So just different things I had to go through outside of basketball too, it was tough for me though, for mine.
And was the mental harder than the physical, or how would you compare those two?
I think it was the mental. Physically, I was fine. Yeah. But mentally, I was so into a different space. I just wanted to do other things. I was just ready to do whatever I wanted to do at that point.
And Gil, how about yourself? Obviously, your game relied a lot on speed, change of pace, that bop, as you like to say. But then getting those knee injuries and now trying to come back. And I even think about my pops, who I've told you he broke his neck and was a shadow of his former self. He just, and that was one that was supposed to be, literally, he's supposed to be paralyzed. Ended up getting surgery, being able to continue his career with the Warriors a couple years later. But, we go back and watch old tapes, and if you look at his time in the Warriors, completely different player. So, Gil, what was that experience like for you after dealing with all those knee surgeries?
Yeah, I had about 3 knee surgeries in 14 months, right? So it was just, The most frustrating part is when you're rehabbing, you do months and months and months of rehabbing. You think you're good because you're going through practice and, not realizing you're not going your game speed. You're going your practice speed, right? So it's controlled, it's protected. And then when you go against someone who has no concept of your knee and your feelings, and he's coming at you full speed, and now, 2 games later, you're back out when you just been, practicing and training and jumping for the last, month and a half, and then, 2 games later, you're sitting there. You're sitting there, injured, rehabbing again for 6, 7, 8, 9 months to play 2 games, to sit out 6, 8, 9 months, and all you see is the people you were in front of catch you, the people you were tied with pass you, the people you were trying to catch, gone.
Yeah.
And you're just watching your career just pass you by, and that's really the most frustrating thing.
So you talk about, game conditions versus practice conditions. How is it even possible to replicate game conditions in your practicing, in your rehab, and your recovery? And what is it about getting to that game? 'Cause a lot of people might watch a game and be like, oh, this is not as fast paced as you might imagine compared to practice where I can be running full speed and doing all this crazy stuff. But you also don't have to guard guys like Kobe and, those type of dudes.
Yeah.
You don't get to replicate that in practice.
No, that's the part that you really are going to always struggle with, where you're playing against your backup. You're playing against your backup, and that's what your backup is capable of, and he's testing your knee with his ability. Now you have to guard someone like Ja Morant or go against a Curry. Even if I go against a Dame, and I feel good, now I got to go against a Ja or Steph. That might bring up a whole nother issue that I wasn't ready for, and that might set me back, 2, 3 months. So it's really one of those things where you have to find a method of really testing your knee to its full capacity.
For sure. We're hopeful and optimistic that Lonzo can get back on the court. Obviously, LA, adjacent legend, big baller brand, everything they've meant to the game. So
it's sad, man. Especially when you think about his whole NBA career so far. I know it's not the way he would have liked it to pan out so far, but it's one of those things where you still have time on your hand, and you can still carve out an amazing career.
Yeah.
It's more about the longevity of your career versus just like right now.